In my 2 years of living abroad, I've built a business which I wouldn't be able to build back home. But on the way there, I've burned so much money in ways that honestly still hurt today. And it's not on partying or drinking, it's the mistakes people won't warn you about, because it honestly doesn't make for good content. But in this video, I will break down the top 5 mistakes I made in my time living abroad, so you don't have to, because I can tell you, you want to save this money. The first one is the tourist. So before I started living abroad, I calculated everything. I had my savings, and due to my calculations, I was able to live for at least a year when I moved to Vietnam and Thailand, because it's cheap, right? You can live for only like $1,000 or $500 a month. Rent is cheap. And while this is true, if you calculate like a tourist, it's gonna be so much different. Vacation math is like judging a marathon on its first kilometer. Like if you're on vacation, you will spend money for like 2 or 3 weeks. When you're gonna start living there, you need to pay deposits, gear, mistakes, emergencies. There are so many different costs that you will need to pay if you actually start living somewhere. Money that you have saved up right now and calculated you will need for the past 12 months at least 50%. Because your runway is probably gonna take longer. You also want to build your business, so you want to have capital to actually invest, to keep going, to not get into a survival mindset, because I've been there. Once you get inside of the survival mindset because you need money, your business will suck at that point anyway. So just give yourself room at 50% to your current calculations, and you should be good for the next 12 months. And the second one is foreign price. And I actually made a full video about renting in Bangkok specifically. But the first like at least 1 or 1.5 years, let's say 1 year, I've always paid the listed price of any apartment for the rent, because I was just being polite. I thought this was the way. But to be honest, in most parts of Asia, the listed price is only the opening offer. The landlord or the agent is actually expecting you to go ahead and negotiate the price. And I've seen that you can negotiate the price down with at least 5 to 15%. And if you're not able to negotiate the price down, then you can negotiate based on the terms. So let's say they don't want to reduce the price with 5 to 15%, you can negotiate other terms. So let's say you can reduce the lease periods from 12 months to 6 months, or they will add an extra cleaning or any other terms. You can always negotiate something. And specifically in Bangkok, there are so many condos you can rent. So you can most definitely always negotiate at least the terms, but also the price. And the third one is donating to banks. And I've seen this one around social media, TikTok, Instagram. The biggest one, it's actually a really silent one, is when you click continue with conversion. If you go ahead and pull money out of the ATM. Because if you click continue with conversion, you will use the conversion of the specific ATM bank. If you use without conversion, it's going to use the one from your bank. This one is always way better. And especially if you take out big amounts of money, it can be a really big difference. So always click on the ATM on without conversion. And then you can say like, yeah, who cares about 3 to 5%? But if you keep doing this every single time you take out money, I mean, like 3 to 5% in your stock portfolio a year is okay, but you give it away to banks. You literally donate it to banks. So it's like dynamic conversions, and you just really don't want to do this, want to avoid it. Click continue without conversion, and you will save 3 to 5% on your conversion fees. And the fix actually doesn't cost you anything. Just go for a really good multi-currency setup. Revolut, Wise. This way you just reduce your fees, because quite honestly, you're literally donating money to banks. I've been using my bank from the Netherlands like for quite some time, and when I saw the difference against Revolut, I was literally giving away hundreds of euros like every single month, just literally donating to banks. So don't do it. Get a good setup and you will be set. And number 4 should be really easy, but get your health insurance before you start living abroad. Because I didn't do this before I started living abroad, because I was like, you know, I'll be fine. I never go to the doctor. I never have any issues. And then I did get issues, and then I wasn't insured. And even if you're like in an Asian country, it's still much cheaper than probably back in your home country, but it's still like hundreds of euros which you just have to give away. Instead, if you had your health insurance and you paid your fixed fees every single month, you didn't have this like emergency costs. So I would really make sure to get your health insurance before you start moving abroad. And number 5 is the one that has costed me the most amount of money. I wasn't living back in the Netherlands anymore, but I was still paying taxes in the Netherlands because I was too lazy to make sure that I had a proper tax setup. And if you're not living in your home country and you're living in a European country, or in the US, it's a different story with personal taxes, but at least in Europe, why would you pay taxes in your home country if you're not living there? And tax residency is like an invisible line. After, in most countries, 180 days, you become a tax resident. Same here in Thailand. After 180 days, you become a Thai tax resident. And the issue with this, if you're a tax resident in multiple countries, that 2 countries say that you need to pay taxes, which means you're gonna get double taxed. And you're in the middle of, oh, I didn't actually plan for this. So I'm not here to give you tax advice, but me personally, I set up my company in Cyprus and I became a tax resident of Cyprus as well. You only need to stay there for 60 days a year to become a tax resident. This means I pay my personal taxes there, and most of it is dividends from my company, which are tax-free, and then only a small salary, which I obviously pay my taxes over, and then my company pays 15% in corporate tax. And this is one of the better structures I've found personally in Europe specifically. So if you need help with setting up your own Cyprus company, or maybe even Dubai, just send me a DM on Instagram. It's Jeppe Krutse. I'll put it in screen here. I can connect you with my accountant, and he can also help you set up your own tax structure somewhere where you want it in the world. I personally went for Cyprus because I just really liked this structure, especially since it's in Europe as well. So these were 5 mistakes I've made in the past 2 years. Nothing crazy, no scams, no disasters, but they will cost you a lot of money if you don't watch out for them. So if you want to see more about life abroad and business, make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.